Welcome to the Resource. It's Blue Friday here in the office, so you all get to watch today's show with the Seahawks theme, so there you go. Now, the NBA released a white paper last week that's actually really good, so good, the Wall Street Journal picked it up and ran with it. The white paper is simply titled Housing Demand, and you'll learn a lot from it if you pick this thing up and read it. Being that you're watching the Resource, you know that I already did that for y'all, and you know that I'll bring you the highlights. However, this link, you guys should actually click on it and download the report for yourself, especially if you're a CEO or team leader or if you're in some form of leadership in real estate or lending. The white paper covers the next 10 years in real estate and makes some very good points about household formations and where your next listing or home buyer may come from. See, when I read this thing, I read it with like a marketing eye. Seems like a weird thing to say and maybe an even odder approach, but let me explain. The MBA highlights the next 10 years and where they believe the majority of the business will come from. Reading this with a marketing perspective can give you a good idea on how, when, and where to spend your money and efforts moving forward. Like, how should I market my services or my company's services now and into the future? Or who do we target? Or when do we target them? Basically, where's the best money and effort spent to maximize me or my company's effort over the next 10 years? Aha! See, download this thing and read it with that perspective. It takes it from just numbers and stats to a well-rounded game plan. Lenders and realtors alike, you may want to leverage this info to help grow your teams. Now, this white paper makes a strong case for the industry over the next 10 years, and that equals job security, at least in my opinion. Now, on to the meat and potatoes. The paper opens with a good comment stating this study, utilizing a comprehensive analysis of data from 1976 to 2014, a period encompassing several market and housing cycles, provides a projection of a much stronger housing demand over the next 10 years. Ooh, you had me at comprehensive. By 2024, demographic and economic changes will bring what could be one of the largest expansions in history of the U.S. housing market, 15.9 million additional households. The growth will be driven by increases in the number of households headed by those age 60 and older and age 45 and younger, and will be mitigated by declines among households age 45 to 60. See, to some people like myself and numbers-driven CEOs or team leaders, that info right there is like a steamy Fabio novel that women read at night. It's oddly the same thing. We get excited and we start making plans. But for real, that's some really good intel. Keep in mind, that's 15.9 million household formations, not necessarily home buyers, but the majority of them will be. To break that down in more manageable numbers and relatable numbers, that's probably 13 million new home buyers over the next 10 years. And to break that down even further, that could be 1 to 1.3 million new home buyers every year. Pretty cool. Now back to growth. Growth among older households will continue to be primarily among non-Hispanic whites, also known as just white people. Not sure why they needed to overcomplicate that, but okay. Minorities will drive growth among millennial households and will positively impact demand among every age cohort. That again is some great stuff, and it's almost like cheating when you think about it. We really have a good idea on where our next clients will be coming from. Pretty cool if you ask me. Household growth will be led by 5.5 million additional Hispanic households, 3.4 million additional non-Hispanic white households, also known as white households, 2.4 million additional black households or non-Hispanic black households, and 1.8 million additional non-Hispanic Asian households or just Asian households, and 730 additional other households. Now, 3 tectonic forces will shape the American housing market over the next decade. The first is the ever-changing demographic makeup of the entire United States. The second is a series of long-term societal trends. The third is the fading of the economic hangover from the Great Recession. And when you add all of those together, you get, quote, one of the largest increases in housing demand this country has ever seen. Wow, now that doesn't get you excited and attract some new blood to the industry, I don't know what will. Bottom line, the paper states, the Great Recession had a clear impact on household formation and therefore on the demand for housing, and in ways it should unwind as unemployment continues to decline and real wages rise. Over the next decade, demand for housing will grow significantly and warrant housing construction and financing of all kinds, both owner-occupied, renter-occupied, and multifamily and single-family. Now, their closing paragraph is also very, very good, and it deserves to be read out loud as well. For a variety of reasons, households among millennial generations are starting families later in life. This will continue to delay their timing with regard to starting new households. We should also expect a delayed but increasing interest in home ownership from this group. The aging of the Hispanic population likewise signals an increased interest in home ownership and increases in aggregate housing demand will be driven by minorities. The extent to which millennials and older households will switch preferences between owning and renting will predominantly affect the single-family ownership and rental market. Most importantly, the next decade will bring strong demand to the U.S. housing markets. Can I get a what? This is some really good stuff, and today's show should be played at your next team meeting. Download the link below. You won't have time to read it, but set it aside and read it later. It's really good. Now, is anyone else excited by these findings? I know I am. Let us know down below your thoughts on this white paper, good or bad, and we'll see you next week.